Solution. Let's talk about that and go live to our Washington studio. Jamal Abdi's there. He's Policy Director from the National Iranian-American Council. Jamal, very good morning to you. The new resolution seems to leave, as I'm reading it anyway, a little room for diplomatic manoeuvring with Tehran. The word, interestingly, capability comes in there. Iran's nuclear potential capability now being used. Surely that lowers the threshold, doesn't it, for any potential attack in the future on Iran? Where does that leave the US now in its efforts to stop Iran's nuclear program then?
Well, we have to remember that this is 1 week out from when the next round of negotiations are going to occur between the U.S., Iran, and the other UN Permanent Five Security Council members. So this really is Congress sending a message that the United States should take a very hawkish approach to this. And the meaning of capability has for a long time been controversial and has been sort of code for no enrichment. That having nuclear weapons capability is something that could be applied to any country that has a civilian nuclear program. By the Congress passing a resolution that says we can't contain a nuclear weapons capable Iran, it sends the signal that we may already be at a point where war would be necessary in order to serve that goal. So it's a very dangerous message to be sending.
Or was some of this rhetoric to be expected on the eve of these continued talks, do you think? Is that all part of the game, if you like?
Well, it may be part of the game, but the real problem here is that it's less pressure on Iran than it is pressure on the Obama administration. And really the test for these negotiations are going to be, can both sides, frankly, make the compromises necessary in order to get a deal? If domestically, if the U.S. president or, on the Iranian side, if the Iranian negotiating team doesn't have the flexibility to make compromises, we're not going to see these negotiations go anywhere. And so that's why this is extremely dangerous. It's predicted, sure, but it puts pressure on the administration to not be able to make the deals necessary in order to achieve the real goal, and the goal that the president has stated, which is to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran.
Just really briefly, we heard that comment as well from the United States envoy to Israel that a military option is ready as well. He was talking on Israeli Army radio, wasn't he? What about the timing of that into this pot?
Yeah, these are the signals that are being sent as each side, really works to not just increase its leverage going into the table and, postures in order to appear to have the strongest hand possible when going into the negotiations, which is in itself a sort of dangerous exercise that can be self-defeating. But what it also does is it reassures, in this case, the United States' allies. It reassures Israel. It reassures some of the very pro-Israel folks in Congress that the administration is going to continue to take a tough line. And I think really what's key here, though, is that the Congress has broken a little bit on this question, and there have been indications that saying nuclear weapons capability, for instance, doesn't necessarily mean zero enrichment. And that's huge. But we still see that even the administration is doing some of this signaling that can be counterproductive and can raise the temperature of these negotiations in sort of a negative way leading into the Wednesday talks.
Last quick thought, given the upcoming U.S. elections, is increasingly loud war rhetoric a wise move, or is it seen the other way as maybe a vote winner in the White House race?
I don't know that there's been a consensus on this. For the first time, Obama actually, when he addressed the APAC conference in March, really put the issue of war being very dangerous and devastating to the U.S. economy and not in our interests on the table. And he linked the pressure for war, this loose talk of war, to the raising gas prices here in the U.S. and worldwide. So I think this could potentially become a campaign issue in which there's pressure to not be seen as escalating towards a military confrontation.
All right, Jamal Abdi, really appreciate your time. Thanks ever so much. Policy Director from the National Iranian-American Council on the line there from Washington.